If God's advice has touched your heart, you can support the channel by donating via the QR code or the link in the description. May God bless you.
I need to stop you right here, right now. Not in a moment. Not after you finish what you are doing. Now, because what I am about to tell you cannot wait another second, and heaven itself has positioned this moment in your path with precision. This is not chance. This is not coincidence. This is not your algorithm serving you random content. This is divine interruption, and you know it because something inside you already stirred. The moment you began reading these words, your heart shifted, your attention sharpened. That restlessness you have been carrying suddenly became louder. That is not anxiety, that is recognition. Your spirit knows when I am speaking, even when your mind tries to dismiss it. And I am speaking to you now with an urgency that I do not take lightly because I see what you cannot see. I see the crossroads you are standing at, and I see how close you are to walking past the very thing you have been praying for without even recognizing it. Listen to me carefully. You have been asking me to move in your life, and I have been moving. But you have been so focused on looking for movement in the direction you expected that you have missed the movement I have already initiated. You wanted the door to open loudly, and I opened it quietly. You wanted the breakthrough to feel dramatic, and I made it subtle. You wanted confirmation to come through people, and I sent it through silence, through closed doors, through the stripping away of what you thought you needed. And because it did not look the way you imagined, you called it delay, you called it struggle, you called it God being silent. But I was never silent. I was strategic. I was protecting you from premature exposure. I was preparing you for something your current mindset could not yet sustain. You have felt it, have you not? That sense that something is ending even though nothing has officially closed. That feeling that you are being pulled toward something new, even though you cannot name what it is yet. That restlessness that will not let you settle back into old patterns no matter how hard you try to force peace through routine. You thought something was wrong with you. You thought you were backsliding, losing faith, becoming unstable. But what you were experiencing was not spiritual decline. It was spiritual acceleration. Your spirit was outgrowing the container your life has been in. And when that happens, discomfort is not a sign of something breaking. It is a sign of something breaking through. I need you to understand this with absolute clarity, because the enemy would love nothing more than for you to misinterpret this season and retreat back into what feels safe. What feels safe right now is not safety. It is stagnation disguised as stability. You have been in survival mode for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to truly thrive. You have normalized a level of struggle that I never intended to be permanent. You have adjusted to carrying weight I never asked you to bear, and because you learned how to function under that weight, you assumed it was supposed to be there. But functioning is not the same as flourishing, and I did not call you to merely function. Comment amen if you are ready for God to do something new in your life right now. I know you are tired. I know the exhaustion is not just physical. I know it runs deeper than sleep can fix. It is soul weariness. It is the kind of tired that comes from years of trying to make things work through your own strength. Years of holding yourself together when everything inside you wanted to fall apart. Years of showing up even when no one noticed. Years of believing for breakthrough while watching others receive theirs. I see every moment you smiled when you wanted to cry. I see every time you said you were fine when you were fracturing. I see the nights you could not sleep because your mind would not stop replaying everything you wish you had done differently. I see the weight of disappointment you carry from promises that did not manifest the way you expected. But hear me now. Your weariness is not a sign that you have failed. It is a sign that you have been fighting in your own strength for too long. And I am not frustrated with you for that. I understand why you did it. When you prayed and did not hear clear direction, you made decisions based on what seemed wise. When you needed breakthrough, and it did not come when you expected, you worked harder to create it yourself. When you felt alone, you learned to be your own encourager. You did what you thought you had to do to survive. But survival mode has an expiration date, and yours has come. What got you here will not get you where I am taking you next. The old strategies will not work in the new season. The old mindset will not sustain the new level. The old pace will not match the new rhythm I am establishing. I am not asking you to try harder. I am asking you to surrender deeper. I am not asking you to do more. I am asking you to release what you have been clinging to that was never meant to stay. You have been white-knuckling your way through seasons I already closed because you were afraid of what letting go would mean. You were afraid it would mean you wasted time. You were afraid it would mean you heard me wrong. You were afraid it would mean starting over. So you stayed longer than you should have, trying to force life into what I already pronounced dead. And the exhaustion you feel is not from the new thing struggling to come forth. It is from the old thing resisting its exit. There is something I need to say that will sting before it heals. And I say it not to wound you but to wake you. You have been in partnership with delay. Not intentionally, not rebelliously, but through the subtle agreement you made with fear when you chose comfort over obedience, when you chose familiarity over faith, when you chose to wait for perfect clarity instead of moving on the whisper I already gave you. Delay is not always the enemy attacking. Sometimes delay is the consequence of hesitation, and hesitation is the gap between when I speak and when you respond. Every time I said move and you said not yet, alignment shifted. Every time I said release and you said just a little longer, momentum slowed. Every time I said trust me and you said let me figure this out first, the door I opened began to close, not because I withdrew the opportunity but because timing is tied to obedience. I am not condemning you, I am clarifying for you, because the reason you feel stuck is not because I stopped moving. It is because you stopped following, and following requires movement even when the path is not fully lit. Following requires trust even when you cannot see the outcome. Following requires surrender even when it feels like loss. You wanted certainty before you stepped, and I wanted your step to prove your trust in my certainty. There is a difference, and that difference has kept you circling the same mountain for longer than necessary. But listen to me now. I am a God of redemption, and I do not waste anything. The delay was not meaningless. It taught you endurance. It deepened your prayer life. It refined your character. It revealed who was truly with you and who was only there for the season. It stripped away the superficial and left you with what is real. And now that the stripping is complete, now that the refining has done its work, I am ready to rebuild. But the rebuilding will not happen on the old foundation. It will not happen with the old materials. It will not happen at the old location. This is new, completely new. And new requires you to let go of what was with both hands so you can receive what is. I know what you are afraid of. You are afraid that if you let go, nothing will come to replace what you released. You are afraid that the new thing I am calling you into will require more than you have to give. You are afraid that you will step out in faith and end up looking foolish. You are afraid that this is just another season of waiting disguised as a season of breakthrough. I see the fear. I understand it. But I need you to see what is underneath the fear. It is not wisdom. It is woundedness. It is the voice of past disappointment trying to protect you from future pain. And while I honor the lessons you learned through hardship, I cannot allow the voice of your past to dictate the trajectory of your future. You are standing at a threshold, not a symbolic one, a real one. On one side is everything you have known. On the other side is everything I have prepared. And thresholds require decision. You cannot stand in the doorway forever. Eventually you must choose which side you will commit to. Staying in the middle feels safe because you have not fully left what was and you have not fully entered what is. But that in-between space is not rest. It is tension. And tension that lasts too long becomes torment. You were not created to live in perpetual maybe. You were created for clarity, for purpose, for forward movement aligned with my timing, and my timing is now. I am calling you out of the familiar not because it was evil, but because it is complete. I am calling you away from people who were once assignments but are now distractions. I am calling you to release what you have been trying to resurrect, that I already buried. I am calling you to stop managing what I am trying to remove. You have been so busy trying to fix what is broken that you have not noticed I already built something new. You have been so focused on what you lost that you have not seen what I positioned. You have been so consumed with why the old thing did not work that you have not asked me what the new thing requires. It requires faith that moves before it feels ready. It requires obedience that responds immediately instead of eventually. It requires trust that does not need to understand every detail before it surrenders control. It requires humility that admits I do not know how this will work, but I trust that you do. It requires courage that steps even when the ground feels unstable, because you know my hand is steady. It requires endurance that does not quit when the process takes longer than expected. It requires patience that waits on my timing without rushing ahead or falling behind. It requires focus that does not get distracted by what others are doing or what you think you should be doing. Say yes, Lord, if you are willing to trust Him completely, even when you cannot see the full picture. And I will be honest with you. What I am calling you into will cost you. It will cost you relationships that cannot stretch into the new. It will cost you comforts you have relied on. It will cost you the version of yourself you have been protecting. It will cost you the approval of people who will not understand your obedience. It will cost you the luxury of blending in. But what it will cost you is nothing compared to what it will give you. It will give you alignment. It will give you clarity. It will give you peace that does not depend on circumstances. It will give you purpose that fuels you instead of drains you. It will give you joy that is not contingent on everything going right. It will give you intimacy with me that you have been longing for but could not access because you were too distracted by noise. Noise is not always loud. Sometimes noise is the constant mental chatter that keeps you second-guessing every decision. Sometimes noise is the opinions of people who mean well but do not hear from me on your behalf. Sometimes noise is the comparison trap that makes you feel behind when you are exactly where you need to be. Sometimes noise is the pressure you put on yourself to perform, to prove, to produce at a pace I never set. And all of that noise has kept you from hearing my voice clearly. This is why I am interrupting you now. I am cutting through the noise with a clarity you cannot ignore. I am speaking directly to your spirit in a way that bypasses your logic and your fear and your hesitation. You wanted a sign, and this is it. You wanted confirmation, and this is it. You wanted me to make it undeniably clear, and I am doing that right now. The stirring you feel is not emotion. It is the Holy Spirit highlighting truth your soul already knows. You are not reading this by accident. You are reading this because I positioned it in your path at the exact moment you needed to hear it. And the fact that you have not scrolled away yet, the fact that something in you keeps reading even when your mind wants to dismiss it, that is proof that this is for you. But knowing it is for you and responding to it are two different things. Conviction without action is just emotional stimulation. It makes you feel something in the moment, but it does not produce transformation. And I did not interrupt you just to make you feel something. I interrupted you to shift something, to shift your perspective, to shift your priorities, to shift your pace, to shift your posture from striving to receiving, from controlling to trusting, from figuring it out to following me into it. There is a door open right now that will not stay open indefinitely. Not because I am harsh, but because seasons move. Opportunities are time-sensitive. What is available today may not be available tomorrow. Not because I take it away to punish you, but because alignment happens in windows. And when those windows close, you do not lose me. You lose momentum. You do not lose your calling. You experience it with unnecessary resistance. You do not lose purpose. You just take a longer route to reach it. I do not want you on the long route. I do not want you learning through hardship what you could have learned through obedience. I do not want you fighting battles I already gave you strategy to avoid. I do not want you exhausting yourself trying to open doors I already closed or forcing your way into rooms I never assigned. I want you in the center of my will, where grace is abundant, where provision flows, where peace guards your mind, where clarity directs your steps. And the center of my will is not a location. It is a posture. It is the posture of moment-by-moment surrender. Right, Lord, I surrender everything to you. Type this if you mean it in your heart. This moment right now is your turning point, not because I am forcing you to choose, but because clarity demands response. You cannot unhear what you just heard. You cannot unknow what you now know. And what you do with this awareness will determine whether you step into the new season with momentum or with delay. I am not threatening you. I am loving you enough to tell you the truth. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. It may not feel rebellious because your heart still wants to follow me. But rebellion is not always loud defiance. Sometimes it is quiet resistance. Sometimes it is the slow no that sounds like maybe later. You have been carrying a weight that is crushing you, and I never asked you to carry it. You have been fighting battles I never told you to fight. You have been holding on to people I released seasons ago. You have been trying to make work something I called you to walk away from. You have been pouring into what is empty instead of positioning yourself under what is full. And the reason you are exhausted is not because life is too hard. It is because you are out of alignment, and misalignment always costs more energy than alignment. When you are aligned with me, even hard things feel lighter because my grace carries what your strength cannot. But when you are misaligned, even small things feel overwhelming because you are carrying them alone. I am inviting you back into alignment, not through perfection but through presence. I do not need you to have it all together. I need you to be honest about where you are. I do not need you to fix everything before you come to me. I need you to come to me so I can fix what you cannot. I do not need you to be strong. I need you to be surrendered. Strength that does not submit becomes pride. And pride blocks the very thing you are praying for. You have been praying for breakthrough but holding on to control. You have been asking for open doors but refusing to walk through the ones I already opened because they did not look the way you expected. You have been requesting guidance but second-guessing every nudge I send because it conflicts with your logic. You have been declaring faith but living in fear, and the contradiction is keeping you stuck. You cannot move forward in faith while holding on to fear. You cannot step into the new while gripping the old. You cannot say yes to me while saying maybe to the very thing I am calling you toward. I see the internal war you are fighting. I see the battle between what you know I am saying and what you wish I was saying. I see the tension between wanting to obey and wanting to stay comfortable. I see you wrestling with whether this is really me or just your emotions or just compelling words. And I tell you plainly, you already know this is me. You felt it the moment you started reading. That is why you are still here. That is why you have not dismissed it. That is why something in you is both resisting and receiving at the same time. So let me make this as clear as I possibly can. I am speaking to you. I am calling you. I am redirecting you. I am repositioning you. I am requiring a response from you. Not a response you think about for weeks and then forget. Not a response you agree with emotionally but never follow through on. Not a response that sounds spiritual but produces no action. I am requiring a response that shifts how you move today. A response that changes the conversation you are about to have. A response that redirects the decision you are about to make. A response that stops the pattern you are about to repeat. The door is open. The invitation is extended. The season is shifting, and neutrality is not an option. You will either step forward in faith or step backward in fear. There is no standing still when I am moving. Stillness in the wrong season becomes stagnation, and stagnation becomes death to dreams, death to vision, death to the fire that once burned in you. I do not want that for you. I want you alive, fully alive. Not just surviving but thriving, not just enduring but enjoying, not just managing but multiplying, not just getting by but overflowing. But overflow requires space, and space requires release. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. You cannot fit a new level into an old mindset. You cannot carry a new assignment with old habits. Something has to give. And what needs to give is not my promise. It is your grip on what I already finished. Let it go. Let the disappointment go. Let the bitterness go. Let the offense go. Let the need to understand everything go. Let the timeline you created go. Let the version of the story you thought I was writing go. Let the people who were for a season go. Let the place that was preparation go. I have been preparing something for you that you did not prepare for yourself. I have been orchestrating connections you did not network for. I have been opening doors you did not knock on. I have been arranging favor you did not earn. I have been positioning blessing you did not work for. But all of it requires one thing from you: trust. Trust that I see what you do not see. Trust that I know what you do not know. Trust that my plan is better than your backup plan. Trust that my timing is perfect even when it feels delayed. Trust that I am good even when circumstances look bad. Trust that I am for you even when it feels like everything is against you. And trust is not passive. Trust moves. Trust obeys. Trust lets go. Trust steps out. Trust speaks up. Trust stays quiet. Trust waits when I say wait, and runs when I say run. Trust does not need all the answers before it says yes. Trust says yes, and then watches me provide the answers along the way. This is what I am asking of you right now. Not a vague general trust that you declare when it is convenient. I am asking for active present tense trust that responds to what I am saying in this very moment. What am I saying? I am saying stop. Stop running from what I am calling you toward. Stop hiding behind busyness. Stop using responsibility as an excuse to avoid obedience. Stop waiting for perfect conditions before you move. Stop looking for validation from people who do not have authority over your life. Stop replaying past mistakes as if they disqualify your future. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Stop questioning whether you heard me when you know you did. Stop negotiating with what I already made clear and start surrendering control. Start trusting my process. Start obeying immediately. Start releasing what I said let go. Start speaking what I gave you to say. Start moving toward what I pointed you to. Start believing that I am doing something even when you cannot see evidence yet. Start acting like you believe what you say you believe. Start positioning yourself for the new instead of protecting what was. God, I trust you completely. Type this if this is your declaration right now. I know this feels heavy. I know it feels like a lot. But it is only heavy because you have been carrying it in your own strength. When you transfer the weight to me, it becomes light. When you stop trying to manage everything, and instead surrender everything, peace replaces pressure. When you stop asking me to bless your plans, and instead ask me to reveal my plan, clarity replaces confusion. When you stop performing for approval, and instead rest in acceptance, joy replaces striving. This is what I want for you. Not a life of constant grinding, not a life of endless hustle, not a life where you have to force everything into place. I want you in a flow where things align because you are aligned, where doors open because you are in position, where provision comes because you are in the center of my will, where peace guards you because you are walking in obedience, where favor surrounds you because you are walking in humility. But this life, this flow, this alignment, it does not come to those who stay where they are comfortable. It comes to those who move when I say move, and I am saying move now, not recklessly, not without me, but with me, closely, attentively, obediently, step by step, day by day, moment by moment, listening for my voice above all the other voices, following my leading above all the other directions, trusting my timing above all the other timelines. You are closer than you think, closer to breakthrough, closer to clarity, closer to the manifestation of what you have been believing for. But closeness requires one final push, and that push is not more effort, it is more surrender. It is laying down the need to control the outcome. It is releasing the timeline you set. It is letting go of the picture you painted of what it should look like. It is trusting that my version is better than your vision. I am not taking you somewhere to abandon you. I am taking you somewhere to establish you. I am not calling you out to leave you alone. I am calling you out to position you precisely. I am not asking you to let go so you lose. I am asking you to let go so you can receive what your grip has been blocking. Open hands receive, clenched fists repel, and you have been clenched for so long out of fear of loss that you have blocked the very blessing I have been trying to place in your hands. So I ask you one more time, will you trust me? Will you surrender? Will you obey? Will you let go? Will you step forward? Will you say yes? This is not a manipulative question designed to pressure you. This is an honest question that requires an honest answer. And you do not answer me with words. You answer me with movement. You answer me with the next decision you make. The moment you have been praying for is here. The breakthrough you have been believing for is available. The open door you have been asking for is in front of you. But it requires you to walk through it. And walking through requires leaving behind what cannot come with you. I am with you. I am for you. I am ahead of you preparing the way. And I am behind you covering what you left. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone. Even in the moments you felt abandoned, I was working. Even in the silence, I was speaking. Even in the waiting, I was preparing. And now the preparation is complete. Now the waiting is over. Now the silence is breaking. Now the movement is beginning. But it begins with you. It begins with your... Yes, it begins with your surrender. It begins with your step. So step forward in faith. Step out of fear. Step into the new. Step away from the old. Step toward what I am showing you. Step even though you cannot see the full picture. Step even though your knees feel weak. Step even though people will not understand. Step because I said step. And when you step, you will see what you could not see from where you were standing. When you step, provision will meet you that was not visible before. When you step, clarity will come that confusion blocked. When you step, peace will guard you that anxiety prevented. This is your moment. Do not let it pass. Do not postpone it. Do not dismiss it. Respond now, move now, surrender now, trust now. Amen. Share if this touched your heart.